Today we're going to be making Sopa de Fideo. Now this is a very simple recipe, but growing up and when you don't have the means in life, sometimes you got to make meals that are inexpensive. This is really an inexpensive meal. Now the main thing that we'll need is some Fideo noodles. Fideo is just a shortcut pasta. They're probably about an inch long and real thin. Probably about the size of like a thin spaghetti noodle. Now we're going to be making a sauce with this, or just kind of like a tomato-based sauce. We're going to be needing some tomatoes. These Roma tomatoes are small, but if you have two nice sized Roma tomatoes, that's all you would need. But since the size of these, I'm going to be needing 4 of those. Or you could just use tomato sauce and just add water. We'll need half of an onion. Since I'm doing 2 bags, I'll need a half. If you're doing 1 bag, you'll use a quarter of an onion. 3 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of oregano, and 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. Now, if you have chicken broth, that'll work. Like my grandma growing up, she would always be boiling some type of meat, so she would have the broth of whatever meat she had, so she would add that into it. And we'll need probably around 4 to 8 cups of water. That'll just depend on how soupy you want it. That's really a preference thing. Some people like this kind of a little thick where you get more you get like the sauce as a minimal and all noodle, or you can do it soupy or it's a little bit more runny. So that just really depends on you. So I already have my tomatoes pitted, so all we're gonna do is just cut these into littler pieces so that way we can blend them better. So get these cut, put them in our blender. Same thing with our onion. Just cut this up into smaller pieces, that way it'll blend. Because if not, it'll get stuck if it's a bigger chunk. Okay, we'll add in our garlic, oregano, and our chicken bouillon. Okay, so I'm adding in about 4 cups of water. I'll go ahead and add about another 1.5 cups, just so we can hit the 8-cup mark. About right there. So we'll have a total of 8 cups. We'll give this a blend. All right, that's all blended up. Let's go ahead and get our noodles. Okay, in a pot, turn on our heat to about medium-high heat. Lay down a good amount of oil, and we'll let this come to temperature. All right, after about a few minutes, check see if our oil's bubbling on our spoon here, and it is. So it looks like it's up to temperature. Now we'll add in our pasta. Now this, you gotta keep it moving quick, or you'll get some dark spots on your noodles. Let's move it around. We just want to give it some color. Okay, once it kind of shocks the temperature a little bit, then you can not move as fast. That way you can get some cook time, some fried time on some of those noodles as you move them around. Just stir them around. Let it sit for a little bit. Get like an even fry on everything. Let that sit for a couple seconds and then stir it. Looking good. Okay, once you feel you got enough fry on your noodles, I don't mind the different colors. You get a little bit darker than some of the lighter ones. Now we'll add in our tomato sauce. There we go. So now we just shocked the temperature. Now we're gonna let this come back to temp and get this cooking. And we'll go from there. Okay, now that it's coming up to temperature, you just want to give it a nice stir. The noodles are already starting to expand. Now this can be as tender as you want it or al dente as you want it. Usually we cook it till it's fully cooked, like all the way done. A little loose. So now that it's warm, I'm gonna cover it. And we're gonna let this go for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, about halfway, we want to give this a stir. Make sure nothing's sticking on the bottom. Looking good. Set your temperature about medium heat at this point. It's already up to temperature. I'm gonna go for another 4 minutes. See you then. All right, after our time is done, our sopita is done. Let's give this another mix. Oh, it's looking good. It expanded really good. Now this is like the consistency that I like. I like it a little thick, a little bit more pasta to water. But if you want it more runny, by all means, add a little bit more water to it. So I'll shut this off. Now all we have to do from here is just check for seasoning. About a heaping teaspoon Give that a mix. I'll season salt to your taste. Do another final test. Add just a tad more salt and we're good. All right, folks, our sopita is done. Serve up a bowl, get into the taste test. This right here is childhood classics right here. Now, you could add so much stuff to this. You could add, you know, vegetables to it, cheese, crema. I mean, you name it. You could do whatever you wanted. You could add, you know, chunks of chicken in here. But today I'm just showing you the simplest version of it. Cheers, y'all. Man, you know, now that I'm talking about it, I could use some crema in here and a little bit of cheese. But good stuff right here. If you're new to my channel, consider hitting the subscribe button. That way you see future videos just like this. As always, I'll leave the recipe in the video description so that way you can follow along. Now, I have these recipes, and they're really good. You should try them out. Now, y'all be beautiful, and God bless.